Have your prayers always been answered in just three ways? Yes, no, not yet. Or have you received answers to your prayers in unexpected ways? Before we answer those questions, however, let me introduce myself first. Hi, this is Salvacion Placer, ang po ako, or Doc Baby, or Simply Baby. And welcome once again to this Connecting the Dots channel, where I talk about stories, moments, insights, lessons, encounters that I call dots. And all these dots are connected to God. And if you are interested in dots like this, in stories and insights, then I would really like to invite you to join me here so that I can help you see God in our life because He is always with us. And even if some people say that they don't see God in their life, He is really with us. And so this is what this channel is all about, to see God in our life in many ways, in our ups and downs, in our highs and lows, and in every way and everything that we do. Okay? I have learned that God really answers our prayers in probably those three ways: yes, no, not yet. But I have also learned that God answers our prayers in unexpected ways. And I have three stories to tell you about this. Story 1. This is the story of Peter when he was imprisoned by Herod. He was heavily guarded, and yet an angel of God came to him and freed him. While the church and the people uh, prayed for him unceasingly and earnestly. Even Peter thought that everything was just a vision. He did not realize that he was already free. But when he came to his bearings, he went to Mary's house. Mary here is the mother of John, who is also called Mark. And I will read here what happened because I find it funny and they were really not expecting it. Remember, the people were really praying earnestly for him, and some of them were in Mary's house. Okay? I read here from Acts 12, verses 13 to 16. When he knocked at the outside door, a maid named Rhoda came to answer it. On recognizing the voice of Peter, she was so overcome with joy that instead of opening the door, she ran in to announce that Peter was at the door. They said to her, "You are crazy." And as she insisted, they said, "It must be his angel." Meanwhile, Peter continued knocking, and when they finally opened the door, they were amazed to see him. So I find this very funny because they were not expecting Peter to appear. Probably they were expecting to be someone to fetch Peter from the prison. I don't really know. But they were not expecting this kind of answer, that Peter would just appear on their door. Story number 2. This is my own story. When I was a young teacher, my contract with my school was not renewed by our department chairman because of some reasons of her own. When I asked why or what are the reasons, she just pointed and motioned vaguely. It's there. There? I don't know where. So I carried my case through channels up to the president of our university. And the result of this was my contract as teacher was renewed. I thank God for answering my prayer, but I did not know that God had other plans for me. After my contract was renewed and after the classes have started, a good friend of mine told me that she is withdrawing her application for teaching in another university. And she told me that they are looking for a new teacher. So at that time, I didn't feel like staying with my department chair because she was antagonistic towards me. So I thought this was an opportunity to stay away from my school. Actually, at that time, transferring to another school never entered my mind or never entered my prayers because then my prayer was already answered. But I was intrigued by this possibility that I can transfer to another school. And so I handed in my application, and surprisingly, I was accepted. And in this university, I stayed on until my retirement age. And the surprise that God has for me, or the plan that God has for me, included this. In this university, this is where I met my husband. Isn't that amazing? I never expected that. Do you have a similar story? Please write comments or share this with us in the comment section below. Story number 3. I saw this in a blog and I will put the link in the description below. Anyway, Brenda is a rock climber, and one day while she was climbing, she lost one of her contact lenses. She was near the top of the rock, and so she inched her way up to the top even with blurry vision. When she reached the top, uh, a friend helped her to check if the lens was just there in her eyes, but it wasn't there. So she sighed and just looked around her, and she saw mountains and trees, and she started praying. Lord, you can see all these mountains. You know every stone and leaf. You know exactly where my contact lens is. Please help me. That is her prayer. She said that she was reminded of the verse from 2 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 9, which says, "For the eyes of the Lord ran to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him." So after praying, they heard there were people coming up also, and then one of those people shouted, "Hey, you guys, anybody lose a contact lens?" And guess where they found this contact lens? They said they saw an ant moving slowly while carrying the lens on its back. Imagine that. God can even answer our prayers through other creatures, also created just like us. So God can answer our prayers even through flowers, through trees, through other creatures like ants and butterflies and frogs and so on. Because we are all created by God. So we are one with God. He created us in love. And we are really joined to God and to each other. So He can use any one of us to answer our prayers. And this is how God answers our prayers in unexpected ways. And He can use any one of us. We can act like an angel to other people, and so they will not expect this. We are usually waiting for answers to our prayers, but we have to be more observant. We have to listen more, and we have to look more, because God might also use His other creations to answer our prayers. Look at the clouds, look at the flowers, look at the ants, the spiders around us, and of course, look at our fellow men and women. How did you enjoy those stories? Are you now convinced that God answers our prayers, but usually not in our ways, but in unexpected ways? Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for uh, liking, and thank you for sharing this with other friends. Please do share it. And oh, if you haven't subscribed yet, then please click subscribe and also ring the bell so that you will be notified of new videos coming up. Thank you. Bye. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.